time to sit back and check out the RCWR show with Lee Sanders. Get fun, in-depth coverage and analysis from the latest in professional wrestling in AEW, WWE, NWA, Impact Wrestling, or the world of entertainment. From hit TV shows to your favorite sports like the NBA or NFL. All things music, movies, and beyond, while trying to make sense of this crazy world we live in. All while keeping it honest, insightful, and interactive since 2011. And now your host, live from the nation's capital of Washington, D.C., Lee Sanders. It's time to sit back.
Let's just come on in that way. I don't know what was going on there. I saw a little bit of glitching at the end. What's going on, guys? Lee Sanders back with you all for this Monday night of June 9th, 2025. We are talking WWE RAW Fallout. Come on, come on. So happy that you guys are able to tune in tonight. And man, if there was ever a reason to be live tonight, good God Almighty. Some of the craziness that went down to close out tonight's Monday Night Raw. They actually went into a little bit of overtime. Show just ended, I would say about, feels like about maybe 5 minutes ago, give or take, about 5 minutes ago. Went a little longer. Yeah, we almost went to 3 hours. We almost went to 3 hours there. I think to date, other than maybe the Raw series premiere on Netflix, I could make a damn good argument that this is the second Raw on Netflix to be extra long. If I got that wrong, you guys let me know. But according to my memory, and my memory's pretty good, it's been pretty on point when it comes to these Raw on Netflixes. Yeah, I definitely think I'm on point here. Folks, we got to kick it off hot and fresh, off the press. We got ourselves a new World Heavyweight Champion. It is no longer Jey Uso. For those of you under the impression, maybe we were going to get a little bit of a swerve, maybe with, I don't know, Seth Rollins maybe doing a little something. Not the case whatsoever. Our new World Heavyweight Champion is none other than Gunther. Gunther actually got the job done, and for the second time in his career in WWE, he is a two-time World Heavyweight Champion. Talk about a shocker. Got a poll up on YouTube right now asking you guys, what did you think about tonight's WWE Raw? So sound off. Let me know what you thought about the episode. We also have a poll available on Twitter at the RCWR show. For you guys that's trying to vote via YouTube, head on over to the post section and you'll be able to vote that way. Hey, are you appreciating the stream health? Do I look better? I know the last stream we did, which was the Money in the Bank post show, your man was showing up looking all severely pixelated. I told you guys we were working with a new streaming service software. And basically, you know me, I like figuring things out really quick. So it turns out, not to bore you with the technical talk, but once I figured out the true power of my MacBook Air and what it can do and everything, then it was like, oh, so that's why we had these issues. So I had the resolution quality way too high. I mean, we were like hitting 4K and nobody is checking out content on their mobile phones and other devices when somebody's live like me. Nobody is going, let me hit 4K. Nobody's doing it. Everybody is just, they're used to the accustomed 1080p and all that. So we scaled it down to what the computer can do, what it's capable of seamlessly and all that. So, but if you notice any issues in between, sound off, definitely let me know. I hope your weekend was fantastic. I cannot complain whatsoever. I was reunited with my car once again. I went a whole week without my ride. My ride was actually in the shops, and it needed new brakes, all four. I had to replace all the brakes. I thought I was gonna have to do something with the rotors, but they were like, "Nah, these are actually good. You're okay. You don't need to worry about this right now. You can actually push this. Honestly, if you want to go another year, you can actually do this for another year. You're good." I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool." I was also experiencing. So it turns out, on top of the brakes that needed to be replaced, I might be saying this wrong, so you got to forgive me. I'm still learning the new car fixing repair terminology. I'm still a newbie when it comes to it, but I believe tire rods, like something that basically holds, hopefully you guys know what I'm talking about. They needed to go in and install those. There was a clamp they wanted to put down when they were looking under the hood. There's some questionable leaks, but their whole thing was this is expected. You've got an old car, so just monitor. You should be okay. I'm so happy to be back with my car. But other than that, weekend was fantastic. I ended up building a new plant shelf in the other man cave there that I share with the wifey. And she was a pro. She was helping me figure out what all goes where as far as assembling it and everything. And I was glad that I had her with me because too many times I was doing something and she's like, remember, you got to put that part in there before you move on to. And I just, no! It just kept rinse and repeat a couple of times there, but it was nice having her company. By the way, I'm going on and on and on talking about the plants. When I shared the end result on the YouTube, I see there was a decent amount of you guys that had liked it. So if, I don't know, if you all are some plant fans out there, I'd love to know what kind of plants you all are growing. If you maybe need some plant advice, you're not really sure where to start, you've always wanted to do some indoor plants and you want to pick my brain a little bit, I'll definitely do that. So we're going to try something a little different for just this week only, just as an experiment and see how it goes. So the only thing we're going to do on this show, we're just going to talk pure Raw, pure WWE Raw. I do want to give a nod, a wrestling nod. It's a bit of a shout out because we had a passing that just came out of nowhere. But other than that, we're going to be talking all Raw. And then I think most likely what will happen is we'll do a bonus show likely Thursday. Well, we'll talk NXT, we'll talk AEW, all that, go all over the place, and just a little experiment. I want to test you guys out on something. All right, let's get back to the talk of this new world heavyweight champion, though, in Gunther. As I'm looking at the polling results right now on Twitter, trying to get a gauge on where you all right now, where y'all are at right now. And yeah, I mean, I'm seeing a dead tie right now. 3% of you guys said it was a below average show. Meanwhile, 16% of you said it was an average show. Got a tie right now at 40%. Half of you are going, it was an awesome show. The other half of you are going, what the hell is going on with Jey Uso? I'm just a little bit curious to see what we got going on YouTube's end. So let's see how the early voting is looking on YouTube. I usually have a better snapshot of how things are looking on Twitter as opposed to YouTube. Yeah, it's extremely early on YouTube. And I thought I gave on YouTube the Jey Uso option. Looks like I did not. I got in there, actually didn't enjoy at all. I could pull that easily and replace it with, but I'm gonna leave it as it is. I'm gonna leave it as it is. So you guys are hearing what's going on now. Feel free to pick wherever you want to vote. Don't just spam out on both of them. Pick one lane, stay in that lane. Look, I have been definitely vocal when it comes to Jey Uso and his championship reign. If you have checked out my show long enough, even if you're a newbie and you've just been tuning in within, maybe like the past 2 months, 3 months even, I've been very consistent with my critique of Jey Uso, which has been, look, and what was the last thing that I said to you guys? I said the chase. is better than the catch. I've been saying that for years. Longtime listeners know me. They know I'm not just saying that to be saying. I truly love the chase. I truly feel the chase is better than the catch. Jey Uso and this journey for him to become the world heavyweight champion shortly after the honeymoon period was over, then it became okay, how long can he maintain this? How long can he continue to ride this momentum? And we all collectively were in agreement that, yeah, Jey Uso, he doesn't exactly deliver the best promos. It's nothing to really be desired of, but it's okay because the fans love him. Look, everywhere he goes, he's got all the age demographics. And I was here on this very same show telling you guys, look at what's happening with the cross promoting that WWE is doing as of late. More and more with the entertainment industry, definitely with the music industry, they are hitting up that rap, they're hitting up that hip hop. I mean, they hitting them cultures up more than ever. And I made a strong argument that, well, look, if you're gonna have a champion, Jey Uso, right place, right time. He is that guy that can, he fits that mold that you need as far as, yo, we need somebody to go on over to the Breakfast Club. Yo, we need somebody to hit up WPGC 95.5. Try saying that 10 times fast. We need someone that can maybe make a cameo appearance at the BET Awards, or we need someone that can Jey Uso perfectly, right time, right place, especially with the culture, just everything involved. Jey Uso, wherever you needed him to be, you could definitely do that with the man. You had the right guy in place. As far as pop culture goes, you had the right guy in place. Everywhere he goes, everybody's doing the dance, all that good stuff, right? So I made a strong argument from all of those standpoints why Jey should continue to be the champion. And as I continue to say with Jey Uso being a world heavyweight champion, yo, he is printing money. And if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. I'm talking about that common sense. So as long as dude is continuing to print money, well, no issues. He's going to be world champion for extended period of time, right? Well, not so fast. Not so fast. At least not tonight. Talk about a roadblock. So we've got in Saudi Arabia in 2 weeks, Night of Champions. Mark it down on your calendars. That is going to be happening on that Saturday afternoon beginning at 1 p.m. Eastern. 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. Okay? So mark that down. Now, you heard rumblings, a little bit of rumors being put out there that Bill Goldberg is probably going to be circling back and something's going to be going on with him. And there were a lot of people that were jumping out there and they felt that as soon as they read what they read about some early news coming ahead of tonight's WWE Raw, that, oh, there's going to be a twister. There's going to be a shocker. There's going to be some interesting turns, especially when it comes to the main event match. And you're like, oh, okay, all right. So some buzz is being put out there. All right, well, you know what? Even more the reason why I need to check out tonight's Raw, see what's going on. Everybody was building themselves up about Bill Goldberg. I joined in on the action, but more in a trolling type of fashion. I kept in mind and I actually refreshed my memory as soon as I put the image out there. Again, me personally on social media, I was trolling. I just wanted to get in on the action just to be trolling. But I said to myself, as I was putting my troll image out there of Bill Goldberg, I said, wait a minute. Didn't Bill Goldberg literally just say that he's pretty banged up right now and he's working twice as hard, more than ever, to get back into the ring, and he's coming across some hiccups along the way, and it's just a grueling. I mean, he is just in agony. And I'm like, wait a minute, didn't I read something like that? So sure enough, I go online. Very curious about, yeah, was I imagining something there? Did I suffer from the Mandela effect, or did I actually read that? And there, in fact, was a interview that Bill Goldberg had gave. I want to read this to you because a lot of people were under the impression that Bill Goldberg was going to show up tonight, and maybe he was going to get in the face of Gunther. Maybe he was going to cause Gunther the World Heavyweight Championship, right? Gunther, Goldberg, they pretty much pick up where they left off. What was it, from like last year or whatever? And Gunther was talking mad trash on Goldberg in front of Goldberg's kid. I mean that was some good stuff. Some good stuff, right? So the interview that Bill Goldberg had gave recently, you guys might have missed this. It's okay if you did. He had made a appearance on the latest episode of the CarCast. Shout out to those guys. And he revealed that he already knows when his retirement match will happen. Didn't want to put the information out there publicly, and that's quite it's that's understandable. Quote, I know the date of my retirement match. No one else knows the date public wise, and so at my age, you obviously have to do a lot of different things to get yourself prepared for what I'm about to embark upon. And I mean, it's uncharted water because not many people my age have done this. And I'm not just going to show up. I need to show up and be me, and I've tapped into me a little bit more as of late and my training. With all the injuries and with my age, it makes it extremely difficult to get prepared without going overboard. I hurt myself a couple of times in the past 3 months, but I pulled back, and it's really tough to have the mentality I do, but to have the body that I do now with the mileage on it, and then go into the Muay Thai gym and hit the pads and not go crazy, and then blow your shoulder out and blow your bicep out and pull your hamstring from throwing a high kick. There's a huge balance, and I've been in the ring a couple of times. I'm going to get in the ring again today, and it's just tough, man. It is tough. Me doing that right there, that was the first day that I felt really good. He goes on to talk about the struggles. I want to home in on this, and you guys, I would encourage you guys to go check out the interview and everything. He goes on to say, it's just tough. I've got a very high bar to set that I set for myself, and 99 times out of 100, it's unrealistic. I've got to be in a certain place mentally and physically to be able to accomplish what I'm about to embark upon, and it's really tough. It's really tough. I mean, take every single thing out of it. Let's just talk about food. Let's talk about how much I have to eat to gain weight at this age and to gain good weight. Now, just around my stomach, correction, not just around my stomach. I freaking ate 8 times a day. I eat 8 times a day, and I walk around and I feel like I'm about to throw up at any given moment because I'm just completely full of freaking food, and I had to back off. I gained some weight. I was almost up to 270, and I had to back off because I could not function. I just couldn't do it. I felt horrible. I wasn't able to move around. I was just sluggish. And so I changed the diet back a little bit. Man, I'm never going to be the way I used to be by any stretch of the imagination. But damn it, for a 58-year-old guy, I'm going to be in some seriously freaking awesome shape. And I'm going to freak some people out, I believe. And hopefully my performance is equal to my appearance, which is hopefully, is okay. I'm terrified to put those underwear, those trunks on again. I may even go with a different kind of trunks for the only time in my life. Also goes on to talk about how he's having some ongoing issues with his left knee and his shoulder, complications of training. So you guys get the gist in a nutshell. Now, why did I go on and on about that? Well, I wanted to really paint the picture for you guys because I remember days prior when I read this, and then earlier today I'm refreshing my memory going, wait a minute, didn't I just read? I'm reading that and I'm going, well, it sounds like no Bill Goldberg then, at least for the month of June, whatever WWE maybe has planned. If Goldberg is going to be doing anything, maybe he's going to be doing something potentially at SummerSlam. That's if he can physically get to a really good place where his shoulder feels better, his knee feels better, and he can definitely. I mean, you don't want to be going in there and, well, I'm up to about almost 75%. I think that'll work. No, you got to make sure that not just you're protecting yourself, but you're also protecting your dance partner. You want to make sure that your dance partner is safely going to be able to walk away when that match is going. No, no, no. You want to try to get to as close as 100% as humanly possible. So I say all this to say, I thought it was funny how people were like, Goldberg, Goldberg, Goldberg. People were thinking, and look, I could be wrong. We could pop up here next Monday night and Bill Goldberg, he returns. I'm keeping in mind what he said, his own words. And Bill Goldberg has always been, over the years, very transparent about where he is with his health, nutrition, fitness, and everything. And if the guy is saying he is banged up and he is holding himself to a high standard, right down to the point that he's even considering, as far as his appearance goes, hey, I think I might put on a different pair of trunks. That suggests to me strongly that this match, this retirement match that's supposed to be happening, it might be coming a lot sooner than we think. Could it be happening at Night of Champions? I don't think so. I don't think so. But I'm looking to see when SummerSlam is, because I know SummerSlam. Usually SummerSlam hits in August, right? Let's see what's going on with SummerSlam. So yeah, SummerSlam this year is coming up on August 2nd and 3rd at the MetLife Stadium. So it's possible Goldberg might do something in July. I'm just saying. But the fact that he's talking about going with a different pair of trunks and all that, a different attire in general, that lets me know that physically he's not feeling where he is right now. And it also says to me that, it suggests to me at least, that this retirement match may be coming a lot sooner than we think. I don't think it's going to happen at Night of Champions. I would not, to the point, I wouldn't be surprised if our favorite guys from PW Insider, Fightful, if they might put some type of a report out there that originally Bill Goldberg was actually slated to do something at Night of Champions, but with all the recent setbacks, just it's not possible. So things are being reworked, give him the additional time that he needs. I wouldn't be surprised if something like that is maybe on the cards. So have that in the back of your head. Going back to Gunther, Jey Uso, look, I got to admit, these past several weeks, I've been here on this very show, and I have said, wow, what is going on with Jey Uso and this current championship run that he's having? This man is kind of coming off like Seth Rollins during his first couple of championship runs there. The main one particularly with Stephanie McMahon and Triple H, Paul Levesque, and J&J Security. It was all about a supporting staff, right? It was all about a supporting cast that basically was carrying Seth Rollins there, right? The championship in him was pretty much secondary. And I was here on this very show telling you guys, and I'm having flashbacks almost to that particular run. And that's not good to compare to. It's like, no, if you've been a fan of Jay and you've seen what's been happening with the man since his days as main event Jey Uso, coming up through those ranks, being with the bloodline, and just, you're like, yo, we don't came so far, and now it kind of seems like we're drastically walking back a bit. You can't help but wonder, health wise, is he okay? Is he maybe kind of dealing with something here, where, an undisclosed injury that maybe we're just not aware of? Mentally, is he in a really good headspace? Is he all right? Is it a situation where everything was just maybe too much for him? He couldn't handle it. What exactly is going on here? And these are the kind of questions that most fans are going to be asking themselves, because it's like, wait a minute, what are we doing here? Seriously, what the hell are we doing here with Jey Uso? Now, if you want to ask me for my honest opinion straight up, Lee, your decision, Jey Uso, what say you? You taking the heavyweight championship off of him? No, as long as my guy is still printing money, you know me by now, longtime listeners. I'm all about business first, right? Because I'm counting that money. I'm counting that money big time. So for me, I would have at least wrote this out until SummerSlam. It's so weird because usually, at least with the old regime, Vince McMahon and crew, the pattern used to be, okay, look, we're going to ride this out. We'll see how it goes. And look, push come to shove. By the time we get to SummerSlam, we can easily go on ahead and just ride with what has always proven to be stable, very reliable, no issues, and it makes us our money. Like, we'll go with what's comfortable. And if we decide we want to shake things up again, well, we'll see what happens as we go to the Rumble. How about that? So I thought for sure Jey Uso was going to be safe for another couple of months. At least definitely going into SummerSlam, I thought this man was going to be safe. But now there's even more questions that's on the mind. Not just myself, but yeah, you all out there as well. I can tell you this, some of the booking decisions with Jey Uso creative in my honest opinion, failed Jey Uso. They failed him tremendously. It was like shortly after he got the championship, he pretty much just became second fiddle. I mean, really, that's honestly how it came off. So the fact that we did, and think about this for a second. Think about this for a second. Here's my biggest issue with how everything was booked tonight with Jey Uso. And don't worry, we're going to talk about some of the other stuff that happened on tonight's Raw, as we had the beginning of the King and Queen of the Ring tournament joints, right? We're going to get into all that, but this is definitely the main meat and potatoes, right? Obviously, and for very good reason. But my biggest bone of contention with what happened there with Jey Uso and Gunther is the fact that, well, wait a minute. We see Seth Rollins, the 2025 Mr. Money in the Bank winner. He made an appearance at the top of the show. And if there was ever a time to pop up and go, hey, you forgot about me? I'm not just going to have my fingerprints over here. I'm also going to have my fingerprints over here as well. Like, I'm watching everybody. Like, nobody is safe. And if there was ever a time, like, the storyline continuity, I am a sucker for storyline continuity and threading that needle, making it all connect. It would have made so much sense. Now, look, maybe I missed it. And if I missed it, you guys let me know ASAP. Comment. Whether live or you're going to be checking this out on demand and everything, or listening on the downloads. Let me and everybody else know, because maybe we missed it. I don't remember seeing a segment tonight where Jey Uso was just psyching himself up and Seth Rollins pops up and goes, good luck, Jey. I don't remember seeing any of that going on, do you? So, and also remember, weeks back, again, threading that needle, storyline continuity. Rollins got in the face of Jey Uso and he said, that championship, Jey, you just aren't built for this. I am. I know what that title represents. It represents change. It represents power. And you got something that I want. I'm sorry, bud, but that championship, yeah, I needs that. Right? And Seth Rollins basically was letting Jey Uso know one way or the other, that championship is mine. How you want to do it, it don't make that much difference to me. But one way or another, that championship is going to be mine. So the fact that we had Jey Uso lose cleanly in the middle of the ring tonight, no interference from the new Seth Rollins Dangerous Alliance, no cameo that maybe is somehow backfire, like nothing like that. Because I even was expecting for something to happen along the lines of, Jey Uso gets messed up, Gunther somehow gets messed up, and it ends with the Dangerous Alliance standing tall. Maybe CM Punk tries to come out there, they knock his ass out, or maybe Cena comes out, right, does something to Punk, and maybe Rollins does something to frickin' CM Punk, and it ends once again with the New Dangerous Alliance standing tall. I thought for sure maybe we were going to kind of go in that direction. Yeah, WWE is on fire right now when it comes to these live events, but some of the booking, I've been saying this more and more in recent weeks. Some of the booking, you just take a step back, you scratch your head, and you go, how does this make sense? And what did I say to you guys less than 24 hours ago or 48 hours ago? Because Money in the Bank was on Saturday. What did I say to you guys? When we were right here on the post show, which by the way, shout out to you guys that had checked out the live post show. I saw the webcast stream doing pretty good. The audio version for downloads and everything, that's doing really good. Appreciate that as always. If you're subscribed to our Spotify, I did not realize this, but we got a decent amount of people that's following the show on Spotify. We're finally uploading the video episodes of the shows like what you're checking out right now to Spotify. So you'll now have the option. You can either listen to the audio, which is a complete, unique, that is strictly the way I mix it down, all that good stuff, professionally mix it. You can have just the audio experience, or you can now have the video experience. So you guys can basically choose. Appreciate you guys that checked out the Money in the Bank post show. But remember what I said on the Money in the Bank post show? I said, man, would it suck if we go into Monday Night Raw? If there was ever a time where we should have seen Sami Zayn, CM Punk show up at Money in the Bank and, oh, hey, we got a receipt we need to cash in on that Seth Rollins Dangerous Alliance. Yeah, we owe them a whooping, don't we? Yeah, we got to get some payback. And it didn't happen at Money in the Bank. I don't know about you guys. I was expecting it to happen. And I said on the Money in the Bank post show, look, do not have Punk and Sammy show up on Raw, because that is just going to be stupid. Because, again, taking that needle, that thread, storyline continuity, make it all connect, you're like, well, wait a minute. They show up for this, but they weren't at Money in the... Wait, what's going on here? And I told you the nice, subtle little way that could essentially be resolved. It involved Adam Pearce and all that. Go back and check it out, right? I laid down a really good foundation. And what did the Triple H, Paul Levesque creative team do? They essentially just put CM Punk on out there with John Cena. I mean, great shit. Don't get me wrong. It's great stuff. Great stuff. But you're thinking about the continuity that we've seen the past couple of weeks with these guys and Seth Rollins stable. You're like, wait, how does... And so everything going back to Jey and just the way this guy lost the championship, it just, for me, can't really speak for you guys. You all are going to have to sound off. But for me, at least, a very bitter taste. It has me going... Seriously, what's going on with Jey Uso? Is he just burned out? Does, something going on personally? Like, Rikishi's always saying shit every time you turn around. No inkling that there's a personal family matter that's happening. So I can't wait to hear what he's going to say. I mean, I know he's always talking, but I know this is definitely going to have him go, yo, like, what the hell is going on? What are you guys doing with my kid? Like seriously, right? But that's all the twists and turns for that one. Look, if you're a Gunther fan, you're like, hey, cool, this is badass. At the same time, though, you're also looking at this situation and you're going, so what story are we really telling here in regards to Gunther? Are we putting Gunther maybe in a position where ultimately it's going to be Sami Zayn that faces him at SummerSlam and Sami Zayn becomes the World Heavyweight Champion that way? Is that maybe ultimately what the end game is? And I mentioned Sami Zayn, and on this note, we can definitely go into the matches here. No particular order. We're just going with the flow, right? So go with the flow type of deal here. But we did have our first King of the Ring men's qualifier, first round. Sami Zayn picking up the win over Dominic Mysterio, Braun Breaker, and Penta. So Sami Zayn, he now goes into the quarterfinals, or however they're basically doing it. And I wonder if we can show. I wonder if we can show graphics here. I want to share some media, and let me see how I can maybe do that. If I can do that, what happens if I say share screen? Yeah, I don't think it's going to be share screen. I don't think it's going to be that one. I'm still figuring this out because what I wanted to do was show you guys the brackets for those of you that have not seen the future brackets yet, but it doesn't seem like I'll figure this out later. I uploaded the images beforehand, but I just don't know how to actually share to you guys how the brackets are looking and all that just yet. But Sami Zayn advancing here. Look, Penta, he can afford to keep losing, and he still has the momentum. Like he is still the WWE fans like for Penta. Like this guy can do no wrong. I mean, this guy has truly become a overnight sensation. And I think week in and week out, this man is continuing to prove himself, his value, everything, just everything he is checking off the list. And I definitely feel that before the year is out, he is going to get a solid run. I feel that at this point, as far as what's in his future, I definitely see, if not a tag team run, definitely is the Intercontinental Championship on the Raw side. Because if it is, I get the two mixed up now because I don't know if it's the United States title that's on Raw or if it's the Intercontinental title. I wish they just had one and the champion could just bounce between the shows. That's me personally, but I do believe he's gonna win one of those singles titles, either the U.S. or the Intercontinental. I think that's what's gonna be in his immediate future. As far as capturing a tag title, I don't think a tag title is gonna happen. Not unless him and his brother Ray Phoenix are on the same roster. And I just kind of feel like maybe when it comes closer to WrestleMania time, I can see something coming about where some type of a tag challenge is issued to Penta, and Penta goes into WrestleMania teaming with Ray Phoenix, Lucha Brothers, and then post WrestleMania, Lucha Brothers are reunited and they're just doing their thing in the tag division, but at the same time, they're still pursuing solo paths. You know what I'm saying? I definitely see that because you don't want to just stick them as a tag team and then forget about it. They're not going to be singles competitors. Like, no, you don't want to do it like that. But that's what I see happening eventually for Penta. Solid match. Pretty good. By the way, for Raw tonight, there was only 4 matches, grand total. They made sure they gave each of these matches the decent amount of breathing room that it needed. I would say, despite the finish to Jay and Gunther, which honestly was pretty damn solid, loved the story back and forth that they told, especially towards the end there when Gunther was just slapping on the submission holds, sleeper hold particularly. Jay looking like he was down and now for the count, but somehow the man still had some life left in him, and he ended up reversing, slapping on his own sleeper hold. You're going, okay, well, man, we remember the record timing that Gunther tapped out at WrestleMania. Can lightning strike twice here? And eventually Gunther was able to wiggle his way out of it, kept hitting the back of that head and neck with his elbow to the neck and back of the head of Jey Uso, slapping on that sleeper hold again, making Jey Uso pass out, winning the championship that way. Sami Zayn getting a little bit of help in his King of the Ring qualifier match with some help from LA Knight, who had a blunt force trauma waiting for Braun Breaker. Payback is a dirty little you know what there, because the way this was kind of looking, this seemed as though maybe this was going to be Braun Breakers for the taking. So I love that we had it tainted by LA Knight making the cameo appearance and all that. So Breaker, LA Knight, that pretty much, right, kind of takes care of those guys and everything. Some other action while we're talking about the King of the Ring. Let's go ahead and talk about the Queen of the Ring first round tournament. We had Liv Morgan taking on Rhea Ripley, Kari Sane, Roxanne Perez, fatal four way for that one. We had a meeting of the minds between Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez. Roxanne thought it'd be a really good idea for them to team up and try to do their very best to ensure that no matter what happens, a member of the Judgment Day goes on to advance. Liv Morgan wasn't trying to have any of that. She pretty much told Homegirl, you know what you can do? You can stay out of my way. All right, well, say less. How about that? And the way this ended up playing out at the very end, I know Raquel Rodriguez, she got involved. Seemed as though towards the end, Rhea Ripley was maybe going to have this in the books. Rhea Ripley crashing the party, denying her that opportunity. Rhea, Raquel, they are going at it, slugging each other out. By the way, that was some of the worst thrown haymakers I have seen in quite a long time between Raquel and Rhea. I'm like, literally, I'm looking at this and I say out loud, have you two really ever been in a fight? Because, to see the punches and the fact that clear as day, they are not connecting. I mean, it's one thing if you leave like about maybe an inch. I mean, we're talking about like, like a foot of air. And they are just pretty much like, no, go ahead and literally, get it a little bit closer. Hell, if you got to do a Luthez takedown, and you got to make it seem like you're pounding somebody's head on the canvas, I'd rather you freaking do that than throw those air haymakers out there that ain't connecting worth the damn. And it's so funny because the haymakers that was being thrown, they pretty much were throwing these haymakers. It was almost like they went out there and made a pack and said, let's not hit each other's faces, huh? Let's just instead hit each other's shoulders. Well, if you're going to hit each other's shoulders, bruise them up, damn it. Bruise up those shoulders. Nothing's wrong with bruising up the shoulders. And they were not even willing to commit to that. So that was just hilarious on so many levels. I couldn't help but chuckle at that. But yeah, got denied there. From there, if I remember right, Rhea Ripley ended up giving a riptide to Raquel Rodriguez. No, 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 no. No, Rhea did the riptide on somebody and Raquel broke it up, and that's how those two ended up going at it and everything. Kari Sane was involved in that too. I did say Kari Sane, didn't I? If I didn't, the four women, your participants for this one, it was Kari Sane, Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, Roxanne Perez. We saw Kari Sane dive onto both of them, connects with the insane elbow on Morgan, but Perez ended up stealing the pin at about 13 minutes. So, I just, I could do without every time we turn around, somebody stealing a pin. But, this was a good match. I must admit, it was a very solid match. Perez, I think that's very smart that they went with her. And, look, she very well could go all the way. I'm going to give you the rest of the matches and how it's playing out and everything. But I like the fact that we had Roxanne Perez advance because you want to talk about, hey, the future, looking ahead. Like, we definitely need to do our part in building up this talent right here more and more. But then it also intertwines, and we just talked about this a few minutes ago. I love how we're intertwining, right? Good storytelling. You got to do some good intertwining. I love how this connects back to Judgment Day because Liv Morgan, she's not feeling Roxanne Perez. She constantly butts heads with Finn Balor. Okay, so those two, I mean, those are great recipes of disaster right there and everything. Speaking of women, let's keep it going with the women. We did have a segment where Lyra Valkyria interrupted a Becky Lynch promo. Becky Lynch trying to act like the victim, talking about how Lyra beat her ass and she was just trying to make Lyra be a good sport, yada yada yada. Lyra came out, and I just loved how Becky Lynch was selling the fear, kind of like, okay, I know what's happening, and that power walk, that's okay. You're not coming in here just to have a talk. I love how she kind of walked back a little bit there. And what did I say to you guys? Again, we got to go back to the Money in the Bank show. I said, look, Lyra Valkyria going forward, anytime she sees Becky Lynch, it is, I'm going to drop her like a bad habit right on sight. I'm dropping her ass, right? Oh, she going to be where at the airport? I'm going to drop her ass. Oh, she's going to go pick up her rent-a-car? I'm going to drop her ass. She's going to the bathroom? Before she comes to the stall, I'm going to drop her ass. Like, just every time. And that's literally what we had here with Lyra. But before Lyra could get her hands on Becky, somebody else wanted a piece of Becky, and that was none other than Bayley. Bayley making her return. We have not seen her in several months, but if you're following her on social media, you just know, homegirl been getting nice and thick. I'm loving it, loving it. I'm loving it. Love my Bayley, man. I'm happy to see Bayley back. She whooped that trick. Right, she whooped that trick in Becky Lynch there. So what happens going forward? Gonna have to see right there. We're gonna do some type of a tag team match. What are we doing with that in the coming weeks? Gonna have to wait and see how that all plays out. We're still talking women. Nikki Bella made her return. Nikki Bella, main reason why she was out there, it pretty much was to hype up the next Evolution event that's going to be happening. She's pretty excited about it. She can't wait to see all the women perform and, all right. So this is her role. We're having her out there building, okay, hyping it. Sure, no problem. Some of the women that she was putting over, by the way, it was funny how she mentioned Stephanie Vicaire. She called her Stephanie Vacay. I popped hard on that one. There's a running gag in the Sanders household. My wife, she always tells me, and my friends too, but it's mainly my wife. When I mispronounce things, it's always a running gag where they say to me, "Look, man, you got to get serious. You gotta tighten that up because you can't be on the air, doing a report." And then you're mispronouncing this, you're mispronouncing that. Like you got, and I always tell them, it's like, come on, it's a running joke when I don't, right? I kind of do it on purpose, but half the time I don't really know, so I just run with it. But you ain't got to worry. And they're all concerned. They're all concerned that the biggest fear is going to come true, and that I'm going to be on the air giving a report. Once I do my thing in the live radio and journalism full time. Their worst fear is that I'm just going to be mispronouncing crap left and right, and I'm just going to stone cold straight face just selling it, right? But seeing Nikki Bella, just Stephanie Vacay, I popped on that one. Did not mention Liv Morgan. And Liv Morgan had a serious issue with that. She got in the face of Nikki Bella, pretty much telling her, when you talk about this division, you need to mention my name and you need to put some respect on my damn name because I've done this, I've done that. I'm the current Saudi Arabia women's champion, whatever that championship she had won from them a little while back. Talking mad trash, pretty much mentioned how Nikki Bella can't keep a husband, right? Oh, I mean, she really went there. If I remember, I think Nikki tried to attack her, but Liv got the upper hand, and pretty much it was a case of, Liv hit her with the Oblivion, laid her out. So I would imagine going into the Evolution event, that is going to be one of our main events. Not sure how you guys feel about that. It is what it is. I know one thing, Nikki Bella's new merch, nothing to be desired. I got to tell you, one of the worst designs I've seen. Just so plain, so I mean, can we put a slogan out there? Live life fearless. Can we do something? I mean, and that's just off the top of my head, just like right now. I mean, it just boy, that's boring as hell. All right, let's look at the King of the Ring cards for what's happening right now, because I know we got some action that's going to be happening on SmackDown this coming Friday, and everything's going to be continuing next week as well. So I wish I could pull. I'll have this figured out by the next show. You guys just got to give me a little bit of time, and I promise I'll have this set up for you guys. All right, so looks like for SmackDown potentially this week, looks like we're gonna see Cody Rhodes, Damian Priest, Andrade, and Nakamura. They are gonna be in the King of the Ring Fatal 4-Way tournament there. That should be playing out on SmackDown this week. And then it looks like the week after that on SmackDown, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like Sheamus. Looks like Sheamus, Rusev. Okay, so I'm seeing it now. So I just told you what's happening on SmackDown, and that's probably. Oh, well, no, correction. If I'm looking at this right, it kind of looks like the way this is set up, actually. So it looks like for this coming Friday SmackDown, it's actually going to be Randy Orton, LA Knight, Aleister Black, and Carmelo Hayes. That seems to make more sense when you think about it, because we saw what LA Knight did there with Braun Breaker. You would like to believe that Braun Breaker's got a receipt for his ass. So likely there's your spoiler right there. Now, the following week, it looks like over on SmackDown, it's going to be Cody Rhodes, Damian Priest, Andrade, and Nakamura. Meanwhile, next week on the Raw side, it's going to be Sheamus, Rusev, Big Bronson Reed, and a mystery man, a fourth man. We don't know who that guy is right now. We'll know as next Monday gets closer. Meanwhile, over on the women's side, it looks like this Friday on SmackDown, we're going to see Jade Cargill, Michin, Piper Niven, Nia Jax. And then next week on SmackDown, it's going to be Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss, Chelsea Green, Candice LeRae. Meanwhile, for Raw next week, we get Asuka. We have not seen Asuka in a year. Always great when we get her. Stephanie the Kier, Raquel Rodriguez. Well, you already know Rhea Ripley going to have a receipt for her ass. And Ivy Now. Looking at the brackets, just going with the women. So for this coming Friday SmackDown, I personally would love to see. Oh, man. I personally would love to see Jade Cargill advance. Okay, so that would be Jade in the semifinals taking on Roxanne Perez, right? I think I'm looking at that right. I'm going to have Roxanne Perez in the finals. Then going to the other side between Charlotte, Alexa, Chelsea, Candice. Ooh. I'm going to go with Charlotte Flair. Meanwhile, Asuka, Vakir, Rodriguez, Ivy Now. I'm going to go with Vakir. So for the finals on that side, I'm looking at Charlotte Flair, Stephanie Vakir. Flair does the deed, puts Vakir over. Your finals, Cargill, Vakir. You know why I'm mainly going with Cargill too, by the way? I'll tell you the reason why. I'm thinking about that Evolution event and how basically that's in Cargill's hometown and all of that. So what better way to really try to build her up even more and everything by doing what I'm suggesting. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with it. But that's how I'm looking at it. I'm looking at Jay Cargill and Stephanie Vakir. Now, if you want to do some Lee, I actually want a damn good match. I want like an entertaining matchup. Like, come on, man. Well, swap out Jay Cargill, put in Michin. Let it be Mishin taking on Stephanie Vakir. But either way, I'm looking at Stephanie Vakir going into the finals. As far as who's gonna win on the women's side, who's gonna win it all, uh Cargill. I'm gonna go with Cargill. Cause what better way to get sweet revenge than by being in a position where you could challenge Naomi? Oh, but wait, Naomi would have to cash in that Money in the Bank briefcase, right? That's yeah. So we're literally talking about now. You know what? One thing that they did not mention in regards to King and Queen of the Ring, they did not mention, if I'm not mistaken, when the respective winners will get their title shots. So I'm kind of under the impression, okay, well, is the title shots maybe going to happen at SummerSlam? That seems a little too far away because that's in August. So, it's kind of a interesting situation. Hang on, let's see if we can get some let's see if we can get some accurate information here. We'll do this in real time because I want to make sure that we all have the same information. Hey, I got a question for you. So, this year's WWE King and Queen of the Ring 2025 tournament, the people that win, has WWE already revealed when the winners will get their respected title shots? Like, is it going to happen at SummerSlam or is it going to happen before that? See what ChatGPT has to say.
It looks like the winners of this year's King and Queen of the Ring tournaments will get their title shots at SummerSlam, which is happening on August 2nd and 3rd. So it's going to be a big event for sure.
Okay. All right. So title shots at SummerSlam. Wow. So that is one. That is interesting. That is very interesting. See, now I'm a little bit on the fence here with how I'm looking at this. Do I really want Cargill to be in there now? I'm going to go Mishin and Stephanie Vakir. I'm going to go Mishin and Stephanie Vakir. Stephanie Vakir wins it all. Let's go to the men's side now. Men's side, well, we already know, what's his face? Sami Zayn. We already know he advanced. See, Orton, Knight, Black, Carmelo Hayes. I am going to go with... I'm going to go with Carmelo Hayes. Looking at Cody Rhodes, Priest, Andrade, Nakamura. I got to go with Cody. I'm going to go with Cody. All right, Sheamus, Rusev, Big Bronson Reed. I don't know who the mystery guy is going to be. Let's go with Rusev. Okay, so Cody Rhodes and Rusev. I'm going to go with Cody. And then at the very end, so wow, Cody and Sammy in your finals. Cody versus Sammy in the finals. What better way to have Sami Zayn go into SummerSlam than by getting a dub on a former world heavyweight champion, one of the longest reigning, right, in recent memory. Yeah, Sami Zayn to win it all, go on to SummerSlam, get that championship off of Gunther. You know that's what they're doing. Come on. Tell me that's not what the plan is. Come on. I'd like to hear your alternative there to that one. All right, so that's how that's looking. Did we cover all the matches? I'm just looking to see if we covered everything. Queen of the Ring, we did that one. AJ Styles versus Chad Gable was another match that was on the card. Pretty good. Pretty solid. Wish it would have ran just a tiny little bit longer, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed this match for what it was worth. I'll give it that. Kind of makes me wonder what's going on with AJ Styles. Are they maybe trying to position him to be in the Intercontinental picture there? Like, what exactly is going on there? Speaking of what's going on, we saw trouble in paradise, so to speak, for A-Town Down Under as Becky Lynch was getting ready to come out to the ring way before all the stuff had went down with Lyra and Bailey. We see behind her looks like Austin Theory and what's the other guy's name? I'm drawing a blank on the other guy's name. Um, Austin Theory and Grayson Waller. They were going back and forth, arguing with each other. You're like, what is going on there? Later on in the night, we saw them kind of look like they were having a heated discussion there with New Day. I think it's pretty safe to say what that pretty much was all about. You know, the partnership that was formed, that New Day came to A-Town, that proposition. Oh, and you guys could eventually get a championship match, and right, and they did not. They did not fulfill their promise. I think is what's going on with that whole situation there. So, other than that, John Cena, CM Punk. My God, I got goosebumps off that bad boy. I was just fondly reminded of their feud in 2011. Ah, I'm just going, wow. You know, we were on the air at that point. Man, great times. I was like, we were into our first year during that time. So, great time. Great freaking time. I loved on all cylinders the segment between CM Punk and John Cena tonight that had kicked off Monday Night Raw. That was a very strong opener. John Cena uh, coming out there talking about how the fans had taught him something. They just continue to teach him something every time that they basically open their mouths. And he revealed that at Money in the Bank, the truth is a lie. And that fans, how dare they want a sideshow comedian, and just the ultimate disrespect that he has, that Cena feels the fans are giving him by basically caving into some comedic character and all that, and basically saying how disgusted he is to have somebody like R-Truth be riding his coattails while the moment should be all about him and him going into the sunset with this retirement match and everything. And he reminds people that, yo, told you guys 32 dates. That's all that was left. And he starts going over all the dates, and we're now down to 19 dates remaining. So, like, wow, here we are. Like, we're essentially at half, almost at half the mark here, and how the time has just been flying. Cena pretty much wraps up his promo by basically saying, you know, yo, stop giving me jokes of characters to come out here. Like, my time is being wasted. Give me real challenge. Give me real competitors. Well, cue up CM Punk, who hears that, and Punk asks if Cena is comfortable because he's got a lot to say. So talks about the fact that, as ironic that Cena wants to ruin wrestling, Punk is now on the defensive end trying to defend wrestling. And in this particular case, you could say that he's essentially defending the establishment, but he makes it very clear. He's not doing this for TKO. He's not doing this for WWE. He is doing this for the fans. And when he first came back to the WWE, he admits that it wasn't about championships because he knows what it can do to men. He's been there. He's done that. He knows very well. But he's finding that in this particular case, he has no choice but to come after John Cena and that championship. And he knows that in order to take down a monster, which is what, in his eyes, John Cena has become, he has to become a monster himself. That's the only way that he's going to be able to get the job done. So that's where things had stood there. Punk also revealing a very interesting little tidbit. Punk throws it back to Elimination Chamber and how it was the first time that they had been in a ring together in like 11 years. And he was like, do you remember that night? He was like, remember when Seth Rollins was given the stomp? How you came in there and you said you're sorry? It's like, that's because you knew that you were did wrong. And that title, everything about that title and everything, it's corrupting you. I don't like what's going on there. And, yeah, you might have 18 days left, but maybe it won't happen after tonight because I'm ready to take that championship off your hands right here and now. Cena relishing at the idea of a Cena Punk match, but then going, nah, 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 nah. If you want to do this, we're going to do this in Saudi Arabia. We're going to do this at Night of Champions. What do you say? So we will find out later on in the night, match made official. So I know some of you guys are like, wow, CM Punk, he's actually doing Saudi Arabia? Like, whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah, he's actually doing Saudi Arabia. Look, you knew that when WWE and Punk were sitting down and they were kind of renegotiating things with his contract, because they did recently renegotiate. You just knew it was going to be a matter of time before Punk did do some stuff there with Saudi Arabia, because there's a lot of money to be had there in Saudi Arabia. I mean, come on. No matter how you may personally feel, if you have an opportunity to make some buku's money. Now, look, even if you're not hurting for money and it's just, hey, I made this appearance and I'm donating all of that money that's coming from Saudi Arabia, I'm giving it to I'm giving it to Rain, or I'm giving it to the Boys and Girls Club, or I'm giving it to, like, do what you will with it. But I mean, that's a pretty damn good payday. You'd really be a fool to not look. If Sami Zayn can eventually pop up, hey, it's just a matter of time before CM Punk basically pops up as well. So really good, strong segment between CM Punk and John Cena. We got a party crash by Seth Rollins. No words being spoken. Just him holding up the Money in the Bank briefcase, pretty much letting both guys know, don't forget about him. Or, don't forget about me. Ron Killings making a appearance later on in the night. This was shortly after Bayley beat down Becky Lynch. He grabbed a microphone, gave the fans a lot of props, talking about, hey, you guys brought back our truth. The truth is back. Really happy about that. He's like, I'm me. And he formally introduced himself as Ron Killings, and pretty much said that going forward, some respect is going to be put on his name because he is not a joke. And I actually want to pull up the exact words that he had to say here. Yeah, he talked about how, because of the fans, they being WWE, they heard and they understood. So he is back because of the people. And he's back, and while people, they love our truth, they love that, hey, this guy can be, very funny and everything, maybe too forgiving. He's like, nah, not me. And talks about how he's not a sideshow or gimmick, and tells the fans, you think I'm kidding, you think I'm joking. He takes a pair of scissors, cuts off his trademark braids. We have seen him with braids for years upon years upon years, and there was just an overwhelming gasp in the crowd. You could hear it, undeniable. I gotta admit, I let one out too. I'm like, whoa. So he cut it off, and he ends things by saying the truth has set him free, and he is Ron the Truth Killings. So put some respect on his name. Badass segment right there with Ron Killings. Never have I been so excited for Truth/Ron Killings before. Than I've always appreciated his work over the years, but I have never been in the position that I'm in right now where, I can't wait to see what happens with this guy next, and everything that potentially
is to come. So we're learning some more information that's being put out there, and I don't want to get too into the weeds right now. I'm aware of the stuff from the Money in the Bank conference, and I got a lot to say about that, particularly how Triple H handled some of the stuff, the questions, particularly about truth and everything. But Mike Johnson and them of PW Insider, and I always, they do very thorough, very good work and double checking their information and all that. But according to them, it looks like a deal was not reached until like about 72 hours before Money in the Bank. And that apparently Nick Khan got involved in this, as normally Nick Khan does not get involved with talent contract, renegotiations and all that. It's just, okay, whoever you guys want to cut, it is who it is. It is what it is. It's like, but this was a unique case where he did step in and everything. And, not for nothing, but it also helps when you have an entire roster, especially of established veteran wrestlers, that's going, WTF, what the hell is wrong with you guys, right? Besides the overwhelming outcry by the social wrestling community, right? The wrestling community. So all of those things just worked in unison when it's all said and done. But yeah, he's got this new deal, and apparently as part of this deal, his son has gone on social media. Ron Killing's son has gone on social media and essentially let it out the bag that this is pretty much going to be his father's last run with the WWE. PW Insider was able to confirm that as part of this deal, main reason why Ron Killings is now going with the name Ron Killings is that way, when he is done with the WWE, the Ron Killings name will have already been reestablished, and nice smooth transition, when he's out there, meet and greets, things of that nature. So it's a real smart move. It's a real smart move, quite honestly. We were here just last week talking about how it's one of the dumbest moves that WWE, but I also had said to you guys, I said, look, anything can happen. It's like, it wasn't his final day just yet. He had a couple of weeks to go. Anything can happen. Let's see how it all, plays out. But, if they are going to let him walk, it's a very dumb move. I personally have felt. So to see that everything had worked out at the end, now it's crunch time, and it's literally, okay, now you got to really put your money where your mouth is here and everything. Look, overall, though, this was a really good show. I gotta say, from top to bottom, you had some very solid in-ring action, some really good memorable segments. I even like Liv Morgan laying out Nikki Bella. I gotta say, I even enjoyed that one and everything. The start of the King and Queen of the Ring tournaments, well, solid episode. And anytime you put me in a position where I'm having flashbacks to 2011 involving Cena and Punk, I mean, that's always a W for me. Let's see what you guys had said now that the polls have been out for a hot little bit now. Let's see what you guys are saying here. All right, so over on Twitter, we've got 6% of you that feel that tonight's Raw was below average. 16% of you felt it was an average show. We got a tie at 38%. Half of you are going, it was an awesome show. The other half of you are going, what the hell is going on with Jey Uso? Let's go over to YouTube and to Don's question in the chat. No, not familiar with that wrestler. Let's see here. Now we're getting a better gauge on YouTube here. Still a little bit of early voting. Normally the way the early voting works on YouTube, I promise you, if you check out the polling like early afternoon, seems like that's when more people... I kind of get the impression that most people, for the YouTube audience, those that can't join us live, I kind of get the impression that they're either working, and that sometime between the wee hours of the night going into middle of the afternoon, maybe that's when they're finally able to catch up on Raw, and then because it seems to be the weirdest pattern. That's when I noticed the voting kind of picks up tremendously. But right now, I'm seeing a better stretch. 33% of you are saying you didn't enjoy the show at all. Meanwhile, 67% of you are saying it was a awesome show. So appreciate you guys that cast your vote there. Good stuff as always. And let's see here. Oh, hang on. Just making sure that we got that set up. Do 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 do. Do, 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 do. I'm looking up what Don was asking in the chat, and it's funny because the very first thing that pops up is a scam artist. So I'm trying to see what the hell. Yeah, I don't know who the hell you're talking about. Yeah, Irish wrestler. Like I don't see anything about this person. Sorry for the disruption there, folks, but yeah, like yeah. Let's see here. Yeah, I don't know who the hell you're talking about, Don. I think that was probably just a drive-by comment just to I don't know. I don't know. I don't even want to speculate, but I don't know who the hell that is. Anyway, hey, I don't want to end the show on a somber note. I told you guys we did have some wrestling news. Looks like there was a recent passing that we need to talk about here. So I definitely want to be serious for a moment here, as there's a little bit of comedy to this because it's going to bring back some funny memories and everything. But the remember the horrific TNA story arc from back in the day involving Claire Lynch? Boy, this was a different kind of lynch that was going on back then. I tell you what. So for newer listeners, newer wrestling fans, back in the day when AJ Styles was still with TNA, and this was way before AJ started growing long hair, did the beard, and all this other stuff, right? AJ was involved in this really, really crappy story arc that involved Frankie Kazarian and Christopher Daniels, where they revealed that AJ Styles, he's been a very bad boy. He's been doing some stuff, and basically they were saying AJ Styles, he's committing adultery. He tries to pretend to be a religious man, a family man, and all this other crap, but that's not him at all. And they've got the footage to prove it. And they showed this footage of, I think it was AJ meeting up with Dixie Carter, allegedly. This is off the top of my head, like how I'm remembering this. And then somehow, I guess AJ got knocked out or whatever. And, you're like, so what happened? Like, did AJ actually do something with Dixie Carter? Like, what happened? Because, like, you see them meet up and you're like, so what happened? And AJ's like, nah, nothing happened. Nothing happened like that whatsoever. I didn't do anything with Dixie Carter, Frankie Kazarian, Christopher Daniels. You guys can kick rocks. Like, that's not the case at all. I don't operate that way. And then we see this cute looking white woman, little skinny little thing, brunette. She comes out and she's like, that's not true. That's not true. And you slept with me, AJ. And AJ's like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, I don't know. I did not do anything with you. What the hell are you talking about? And it was some of the worst acting. I'm talking about from the Claire Lynch actress. It was some of the worst acting that I can recall seeing in my life. That segment is still findable on YouTube. Just go all the way back to 2012, okay? Just go back to that time period. You'll be able to find it that way. But yeah, she's like, you You slept with me, blah, 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 blah. And AJ's like, no. And then Frankie Kazarian, Christopher Daniels, they revealed some bonus footage, which basically shows the two of them, AJ Styles and this woman, in the bed. And apparently they allegedly did sleep with one another. And then Claire Lynch follows up like a couple of weeks later, whatever it was, shows up with this plastic baby doll that's dressed up like AJ Styles, talking about, oh, you're the baby daddy. And I mean, it was the cringiest crap. And I have seen my fair share of crap over the years. This was some cringe crap. And I remember experiencing it in real time, because this was way back, to really help you newer listeners out, younger listeners out. So this was 2012. So at this point, we already had about a year plus in the books for the show. And this was back when we were doing, my God, we were doing at least 4 shows a week. We were doing a Monday show, a Tuesday show, a Thursday show, and a Saturday show. I think at that point, if TNA was coming on Thursdays, that would explain our Thursday shows, because we were doing Impact Showdown. That was the name of the show that we were doing. And that was all dedicated to the talk of TNA. Nothing but the talk of TNA. It would be so funny how we would have people that would try to show up during the streams and they would try to talk WWE. Not to put TNA down, but it's like they couldn't read the room. They couldn't quite, okay, tonight's TNA night, so kind of, and we had to always forward WWE related stuff to the next show. But I remember when the Claire Lynch stuff had went down in real time on social media, it was just universally panned. I mean, this was bad on so many levels. I mean, this wasn't even Vince Russo bad. I mean, it was like a tier worse than that, believe it or not. And we've seen Vince Russo produce some crappy stuff. I mean, it was even like below that. And apparently the actress that played Claire Lynch, she received legit death threats, all of that stuff. And this woman, she didn't mean any harm. She wasn't bothering anybody. She was working at Orlando Studios. If I remember right, she was Olive Oil, Popeye the Sailor Man, right? She was that character, Olive Oil, who was Popeye's love interest and all of that. And so all she was trying to do was make people laugh, all that other good stuff. She had an agent, if I remember, and basically the agent had said to her, hey, look, for good networking and, trying to build up your resume and really be taken seriously as an actor and all that, an actress, look, here's this opportunity. You should definitely take advantage of it. You'll be seen on television, on syndicated television. You'll be seen, pretty much live. Like, you got to get on this. This will create nothing but great opportunities for you. And sadly, this had the reverse effect, as people eventually found out where she worked, and she was being sent death threats, all kinds of crazy shit that was going on with her. And it put her in a really dark headspace. And she particularly, and I get, when you are an aspiring actor, the whole rule of thumb is, and I know this from personal experience, which is, whatever comes your way, like, be humbled, and just whatever's out there, like, whatever comes your way, like, just take it, because you never know, like, one thing may lead into another. It's so funny that I mentioned that, because on a quick side note, I love watching Investigation Discovery, the ID channel. That's the death channel, as I always call it. And for you guys that are fans of the Starz hit TV series BMF, Black Mafia Family, remember how Meech had the issues with dude from Atlanta, dude with the long braids, kind of receding hairline. Kind of acted like a Black Robin Hood, and we saw how pretty much that had ended. I bring that dude up because when I was watching ID earlier today, I happened to be watching this show. I think it was called Swamp Murders or something. I can't remember it now, but it was from like a handful of years ago. And that same dude from BMF, he was on there. He played. Eventually, it's like he was one of the killers. He ended up killing this girl, and it was like, oh damn, that's really, you know. So it goes back to, you know, whatever role, like no matter how small, you know, how minor, like you just jump on it, you take whatever opportunity that comes your way. And so that's how Julia Riley, the Claire Lynch character, her real name is Julia Riley. That's how she looked at this opportunity, but it backfired. And I mean, she was set on fire on social media, left and right. I mean, it was really, really bad. Mofos were doxing her. People were trying to come up to her place of work. And I mean, it was really, really bad. And I remember just the outrage that accumulated those 2 weeks because of that Claire Lynch character. It was such and you can understand because here she is, she's just trying to get her feet wet in the industry, and you know, all she's trying to do is means to an end and network. So she don't know how to handle and try to capitalize. You know, she don't know all of that yet. She ended up going, yeah, I don't want nothing else to do with this. Like, this is like, I want out. I can't do this. And I remember when TNA had put out a job posting for that position. A lot of people that have been talking about it, they're missing that main one. There was actually a post, because I remember covering it on the show weeks prior to when the Claire Lynch character appeared, how they were looking for an actress, and they went over the demographics that they were looking for and everything. And I just remember chuckling, going, wonder what that's about. So TNA, you know, they were very sympathetic towards her. And they were like, yeah, sure, whatever, you know, we're really sorry to hear this, but okay, sure. Well, what we need you to do then, we need to put a pretty little ribbon around this story arc. So they pretty much had her come out, and it was basically revealed she didn't sleep with AJ. And it was a case where AJ got drugged by Frankie Kazarian and Christopher Daniels, and boom, like we never see her again. And because of that bad experience, Julia Riley decided, like, yeah, I never want to have anything to do with the wrestling industry again. So why am I going on and on about Julia Riley? Like, what's going on there? Well, apparently she died 2 months ago, but the information did not officially be revealed until like right before the weekend was over. So her body was apparently discovered in her home after she failed to show up for a scheduled event. Now, it's believed, now, got to see what's going on with the toxicology reports and all that, obviously, and that's going to take a couple of weeks, but it's believed that she died of natural causes. So, yeah, the harassment online, it was very, I mean, she even received personal attacks, death threats. People found out her LinkedIn, on top of, you know, the fact that, oh, she works at, you know, Orlando Studios. I mean, it was really bad. I never had saw anything like it. That's how bad it was. She did do an interview many years later talking about why she walked away, and you know, ultimately, you know, main reason why she walked away from that role in TNA, she was thinking about her acting career. Like, she just thought long term wise, it was really going to damage her. But at the same time, she also talked about how mentally the backlash that she was receiving, it was just so bad. Like, and she was so embarrassed that she decided, you know what, I'm not even going to put this on my resume. And I totally get that. I really do. Because if you can't be proud, if you can't be 100% proud of your work, and be like, yo, this is part of my portfolio. I'm so proud of this because I contributed to this, and this was the role that I played in making this overall project a success. You know, like if you can't be proud of that and going, yo, this is part of my portfolio, yeah, then yeah, it probably doesn't have any business being shown, you know, to people. But unfortunately, you know, for Julia Riley, it's forever online. You know, I talked about it here on the show a couple of weeks ago. There was a project for my video production class, which wrapped up last semester. So just a couple of weeks ago, there was a project, a final project that I had did. And I asked everybody when the project was over, I said, you know, how'd you like it? Everybody's giving me dabs, they're giving me high fives, all this other shit. And then I show up a week later, I had the director for that project pull me to the side and say it wasn't good. I'm like, wait a minute, you had my phone number for a whole week. I asked you when we were done with the project, how'd you like it? I pulled you to the side purposely to ask you, how did you like it? And, you know, yeah, it was bad. And, you know, he kind of gave me the riot act. And I told him, I said, dude, I said, you sat on the script, you read it. Homeboy over here, we had a classmate that didn't contribute anything because he felt that, well, I'm busy with my other classes, so I don't have time to. And I didn't want to be that guy. Some of y'all may be like, Lee, you were too nice to that dude. I didn't want to be that guy to go talk to the professor and then be like, I didn't want the kid to get an F. You know, it's like, okay, you want to ride coattails? Okay, sure. Like ride coattails, right? I only asked the guy to do one thing: rehearse your lines, rehearse your lines, rehearse your lines, rehearse your lines. That way, come the day of production, you know, looking back on it in retrospect, he had no business being on camera. I have since shown the script that I wrote to a couple of buddies of mine and all that, and they were like, you know, you need a couple of tweaks here and there, but overall, no, this comes down to slapstick improvised comedy. It's like this is what you're going for here. And I showed some of my friends because I had some that actually worked a beat as comedians on the circuit, and they were like, "Yeah, like you had no business trying to play off of him, trying to bounce off of him and everything." And they all asked me the same question. Each person that I showed it to a handful of people, and they were like, "Are you going to put this in your portfolio?" Because they knew that I was trying to build up a portfolio of work to show potential employers and all that, as far as my versatility and all that goes. And I said no. I said if I got a director saying they thought this was bad, you know, I don't have to watch. I know how it was because I experienced it in real time, and I didn't like how the partner I was supposed to be playing off of, the lack of preparation. I was like, no, it struggled big time. I said, no, I'm not gonna show that. So like, not part of my portfolio. So I get what this woman is talking about as far as being so embarrassed, like she didn't even want to put that down on her resume and all. And I think none of us would as well. She died pretty young. I think she was in her early to mid 40s. I don't think she was anywhere near 44, 45, 46, 47. But she definitely was in her her early, I would say she was probably in her late 20s to maybe almost around 30 when we saw her back in 2012. So yeah, I'm pretty sure she's was in her early 40s. So that's pretty young. It's pretty young to go out like that and everything. So as far as what exactly happened to her, causes of death, and like I said, we're not going to know that for weeks. But you know, when you hear something like that, it just really makes you go, yo, appreciate the here and the now, because tomorrow is not promised. It's just not. You can go out at any time. So, you know, put those cigarettes down, put that booze, put that, you know, XYZ down, and do your best to, you know, live each day to the fullest. You know, I'll tell you this. I've been more and more sentimental, a little bit melancholy at the same time, mainly reflecting on just where I'm at in life, where I want to be, relationships I've had with people, friendships that's no more. And yeah, I've been like this for many, many years now, but it just seems like with each new year that pass, I become more and more self-reflective and all of that. And I tell you what, man, losing Kev Castle, oof, losing Kev Castle, to know that he was having almost all the health problems that I'm currently having, that for me, it's still early and I can reverse. Um, it was a shock to my system, like psyche wise. And it just made me go, yeah, man, get your house in order. Like now more than ever, because you're no good to anybody, let alone yourself, if you end up having these complicated issues with your health later down the road. Like, get on top of it now. And I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not. But I do my very best to take one foot forward. And, whew, it's a challenge. It's a challenge. It's been a real blessing in disguise. My friends and my family, when I was telling them the last science class that I need to fulfill my requirement for my associates, I was telling them I'm eyeballing this health nutritional class. And they said, do it. You're a diabetic, you got hypertension, like you'll learn so much about yourself and da 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 da. And they legit were like, and we want to hear what you learned, because we're trying to, we're trying to get healthy. We want to make sure we're making smart choices too. So you got to do it. Don't just do it for you, but the stuff that you can pass on to us. Like, so go ahead, do it. And the stuff that I've been learning these past couple of weeks, it's like now I'm going, oh my God, I got to make sure. Like literally over the weekend, I said to my girl, I said, oh, she goes, what's wrong? I was like, I just did this report for my intakes, and this is low. My calcium level was low. My vitamin C level was extremely low. My fiber level was very low. And I'm telling her, look, go to the store and go get this, go get that. I need more of this. I need less of that. And she's like, okay, cool. I'm understanding the whole breakdown of kilocalories, uh, the carb breakdown, the daily value percentage, like out of 100, and how that really breaks down for each respected joint that you're, it's really, really, and it's kind of one of those things where I'm kind of kicking myself in the ass now. And it's one of those deals where I wish I could have been a better friend to Kevin and, talk to him more. And, because we literally were two peas, or are two peas in the same pod. I wish some of the stuff that I'm learning now, if only I had had the class much sooner while Kev was still around. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe it would have bought him an extra couple of weeks, maybe an extra couple of months. I don't know. That's just pure speculation. But his death has definitely shaken me up big time. I still reflect a lot on his passing. And I'm sure a lot of you guys are as well, man. I was just thinking about him the other day on a positive tip. I was going, yo, wonder what he would think about what's going on with Karrion Kross behind the scenes, of how he's doing in WWE, how he's meddling around there, poking the bear there of Sami Zayn, so to speak, and what's his thoughts about this, and what's his, there's some stuff I wish I could pick his brain on, and everything. I miss the dude. Miss the dude tremendously. I know a lot of you guys do as well. Matter of fact, you got to forgive me for talking about Kev, but not for nothing. But a few days ago, it was his birthday. So miss you, Kev. Miss you. Seriously, I miss his wittiness, his dry deadpan humor, and Kev is one of those guys who gave two fucks not. He'd tell it how it is, and if you didn't, he would not walk back. Very seldom would he freaking. I'm telling you, that was him. That was him. I miss that dude. Happy belated birthday, Kev, wherever you are. So let's do this. Let's go ahead. Let's stick a fork in this episode and let's call it DONE done. So next up, we'll do a show. I'm thinking Thursday. We'll do a show for you guys. We'll talk some NXT. We'll definitely talk some AEW. We will talk the latest in headlines. We'll talk a little bit more about Ron Killings. There's a whole lot of stuff we can get into. I know there was a question that we forwarded. We're going to forward that question to that respected show. Somebody had asked a question about the Washington Commanders and how do I think they're going to do for this upcoming season. We'll definitely talk sports, all that goodness. So you definitely want to make sure you check out that Thursday show. We'll do that live for you guys. I'm thinking we'll do that live. Oh, let's say 7:15. We'll do that show live. Yeah, let's do 7:15 this Thursday. We'll do that show live for you guys, and we'll see how that works out. And then yeah, and look out for a poll. I'm gonna put out a poll this weekend, and I want you guys to sound off on it because I'm thinking going forward, and I kind of want you guys to be prepared and conditioned for this. I think going forward, the way we're going to have to start doing the shows, especially since I'm going to have a loaded up semester for the next couple of years at UMD, I think it makes all the sense in the world that when it comes to the Raw shows, that is just strictly and purely, it's a Raw recap. And then we do the regular show that we normally do. Maybe we try to see if we can have that be on a Wednesday or Thursday, kind of do it like that. I have my class schedule. It's just a matter of me actually sitting down and looking at everything again to see if that Thursday night, if that's going to be the new permanent or if it's actually going to be Wednesday. So I'll let you guys know as we get closer, but I'm thinking as far as implementing these new changes, I'm thinking about having it go into effect probably beginning August 1st. Probably August 1st. So pretty much once we come out of SummerSlam, I'm thinking that's when we go ahead and we implement it. So I'll probably put that poll out going into the weekend. So look out for it when you guys get an opportunity. Meantime, be kind, rewind, check out previous episodes you might have missed on demand and on the downloads, wherever you get your podcast. Just search the RCWR show. Shout out to Julian Cannon, my good friend from Digiday and the Nocturnal. He has the latest review up for the season 4 premiere of BMF. I really enjoyed that article of his. I asked him the other day, any chance that Jeffrey Dean Morgan is going to step into the director's chair soon? Because Lauren Cohan, as we know, she just fresh off the heels of her debut directing episode for Dead City over the weekend. Phenomenal episode. I loved it. The segment with Negan and Maggie chatting in the church. Oh, boy, was that beautifully well done, well executed. I loved it. And Julian was like, if they come back for another season, it's highly likely that Jeffrey Dean is going to direct an episode. So always appreciate the work from Julian Cannon. So make sure you show him some love. Check out his work on those sites. Also, shout out to the boys over at Wrestling Soup, Mitch Thomas and Joe Numbers. Shout out to those guys. And show some love to the YouTube channel, man. I've been loading up more content, especially the foodie reviews. I think we got the new Reese's peanut butter, grape, and jelly big cup review. We got that. That's up. There's a couple other reviews that's up. I'm going to be uploading some more foodie reviews beginning Tuesday morning, maybe Tuesday afternoon. Me and the wifey, we recorded 3 back to back to back. So you guys are definitely going to enjoy those. Well, I'm not going to put them all out at the same time. I'm probably going to stretch them out, do one here, wait a day, put the next one out. Probably going to do something to that effect, but some really fun stuff that's in development that you guys will definitely enjoy. Get at me on social media. I got the Blue Sky, I got the Twitter, I got the Facebook. Use the keywords, the RCWR show. Show the YouTube, this very same episode. If you're watching via Twitter, hit the like, share, heart, all that good jazz. YouTube, same deal. Really helps out a ton, puts more eyeballs on the content. All right. Much love as always. And until next go around, wishing all of y'all to be safe. Most importantly, be kind to one another. I will see you guys next go around. Adios, y'all, and take care.